As we just learned, David Percy is another well-known moon hoax advocate. Along with Mary Bennett, he wrote a book called Dark Moon. Despite fighting for the same cause, Mr. Percy does not agree with Sivrel about his porthole theory. Instead, he believes the Apollo 11 crew used a transparency taped to the command module window to fake the now famous footage of Earth.
When it's clipped up against the window, it becomes illuminated by the light of the sun behind it.
Okay, 11, we have a picture. We see the Earth right in the center of the screen, over.
Listen, as Percy describes his version of what happened.
Returning to the sequence where we left off, when the lights have been switched on, the other window shade opens and the exposure adjusted, we can see astronaut Mike Collins. The left-hand window we've just been looking at is now overexposed, but as we get closer, we can see that something is indeed clipped in front of the window. Is it that window-sized colour transparency of the Earth, with the sunlight glowing white behind it? It looks very much so. Why would they need to be videoing a picture of the Earth?
Percy is speculating that the bluish haze we're seeing here is a transparency of Earth, clipped to the window. In fact, it's nothing more than overexposed Earth light, being diffused by a 3-pane window. The side windows in the Apollo command module consist of 3 panes of glass, with a large nitrogen-filled space between the outer pane and the second pane. These windows were notorious for collecting film deposits and fogging. This helps explain the refraction of Earth light seen in the Apollo 11 video. Through his extensive research, Sat Weavers also discovered that the fused silica used for the outer panes had a blue-red spectral filter coating. This coating shifted the blue Earth light coming through even more toward the blue end of the spectrum. Couple the window's diffusing properties with the fact that an already bright Earth was greatly overexposed when Aldrin opened the camera lens, and Percy's mysterious transparency is revealed for what it actually is: just overexposed, refracted Earth light. One example of this diffusion effect can be seen here, from the same mission. Watch as the camera's iris is opened just a little. When the lens was opened all the way, the scattering effect was more pronounced. To some, this looked like a transparency. Others saw it as Earth in low orbit. As just demonstrated, it was neither.
Looks like to me anyway, on the monitor.
During Apollo 11's voyage to the moon, the crew made several TV broadcasts showing Earth in the distance. To further analyze Percy's transparency theory, we've taken still frames from these broadcasts and compared the images of Earth at various time intervals. Remember, Percy makes the bold claim that we're actually seeing a static transparency of Earth taped to the window. If this is true, Earth's surface features should not change over a given span of time. Our first comparison is from the first TV broadcast, about 10 hours and 32 minutes into the flight. These two images were shot about 15 minutes apart. Look closely as we switch the images. The change is most obvious across the terminator line as nighttime gradually moves westward. Next, we have a comparison from the third transmission at 34 hours into the mission. The time lapse here is approximately 18 minutes. Since Earth rotates at over 1,000 miles an hour, there will be slight differences visible even from 130,000 miles away. Finally, compare our first shot of Earth from 10.5 hours into the mission to an image taken almost 24 hours later. Remember, Percy says all these images are from a static transparency, which obviously cannot move. So if we've just been looking at a still photo the entire time, why is Earth showing clear signs of rotation? We asked Mr. Percy this question. His response was that different transparencies were used. However, these videos of Earth were one continuous shot with no edits, so it would not have been possible to insert a new transparency. Given the fact that the mystery transparency turned out to be nothing more than overexposed Earth light, and signs of Earth rotation are very obvious, it can be confidently stated that David Percy's transparency theory is unequivocally busted.